I did it, people. I almost did it. I almost stopped with Gizmek. Only one game away. One round away for the win. It's so sad. Oh my god. I got 9th out. If I got 8th, I posted in the top. So I would have topped with Gizmek. That would be so sick. This is almost my final. Well, this is my last Gizmek video because I'm now made like 3 videos. I had a 4th one or a 3rd one. If this would be the 4th. But I have not posted because it's just too much Gizmek. There was nothing I really wanted to tell. I just tried out the level 8 package instead of the level 10 package, or rank 10 actually, and it wasn't that great. So I decided into playing super polymerizations. But I won well, 3 out of the 5 games, so I went X2. So that was pretty sick. I really would like 4 wins, but it wasn't given me. My opponent, Brenda Despia, was too hard. Both games I lost were against Brenda Despia. Yes. So game 1 I won against Dark World. Game 2 I won against Brenda Despia. 3 I lost against Brenda Despia. 4 I won against Predaplant Branded. That's such a sick deck. And my last match was against Brenda Despia, and I lost that one. So let's get into the main deck, and I will show you people how amazing this deck is. So we run 3 of Gizmek Inaba. Inaba is an amazing starter. Oh, by the way, I also rarity bump them. So as you can see, they are all max rarity except for 1. But Inaba, when this card is normal summoned, you can activate this effect and special summon a machine monster with the same attack and defense. From your hand, that's it. It's a great extender. You can special and then dump those 2 machines to the graveyard to make Ancient Gear Ballista effect, to search the feud spell, play the feud spell, pop the feud spell, make something 0, special summon a Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon from your deck, and that's how you play this amazing card, or just a 1 card starter. And with depending on your hand, it can do way more. You can banish this card from the graveyard. Banish is cost, by the way. Every banish is cost. And then you can target a machine monster on the field. That machine monster gains the attack equal to all. No, his attack becomes the attack of all machine monsters on the field with equal attack and defense. So, but he's the only one that can attack. So, if you do the play with the Ancient Gear that I'm telling you, then you have the Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon, and you want to special summon more machine monsters so that this attack becomes above 9,000 or 8,000, so you can OTK. Next up, 2 of Gizmek Naganaki. Gizmek Naganaki is an amazing crew-off. I think you can run 1, but when it's banished, you can not get its effect that much. The only downside of this card is that it's a light. So if this card is on the field, you can tribute a Gizmek monster and a special summon a Gizmek monster from your deck with a lower level than the tributed monster. That is very, very sick, that effect. But I never use that effect. I mostly use the second effect of this card. But you can banish it from your graveyard to add one of your face down banished machine monsters with equal attack and defense to your hand. And that is a very, very sick second effect. But this first effect is also very good if you can pull it off. But it's very hard to have a level 9 machine monster and this card on the field, because then most of the time you have to normal summon this card. But if you can pull it off, you can have some crazy plays. The next one, I have to read his name, is Gizmek Tanikaku. I just call him Frogman, okay? The Gizmek Frogman is a great card to have in the graveyard, but it's an awful card to have in your hand that you want a normal or special summon. Because on special on summon, you can activate this effect and put a Gizmek on top of your deck, so that's not bad. And his second effect is that when this card is in the graveyard, you can banish it, target a machine monster with equal attack and defense in your graveyard, and special summon it in defense position. And that's such an amazing card to come into link climbs, or maybe use one of your big machine monsters that are in the graveyard to special summon it back again, to use Inaba to bump another card up. And this card is very crazy. The Frogman is amazing. I love this card. Yeah, I think it's great at 2 because you never really want to see too much of it in your hand. Next up is Gizmek Arakami. This card is at 3 because it's amazing. The special summon is great because the special summon is not once per turn, but his second effect is. So his effect is when there's a machine monster on the field with equal attack and defense, you can activate this effect and then special summon this card. Then, when this card is in the graveyard, you can target one of your machine monsters with equal attack and defense on the field, banish this for cost, then send one from your deck to the graveyard, and this card gains, well, the targeted card gains attack equal to the monster's send level. So most of the time you will send this card, or you will send the Naganaki or the frog, for the reason that you have then a much more special summon place, or maybe if you haven't normal summon yet, want to get something that banished back, so you can use your normal summon. I love this card. It's a crazy 3-off. It's very good. Next up is Gizmek Makami. I run 2 Gizmek Makamis. I think this is a very good normal summon. And this is the only 5 real normal summons that you have, and sometimes the Naganaki. So you actually play 7 normal summons. Because this card can be normal summoned without tributing if you have 6 or more banished cards. You do not always have 6 or more banished cards, but most of the time you have, so it will be always more likely playable. If this card is normal summoned, you can discard a monster and then search a machine monster with equal attack and defense and add it to your hand. And when this card is destroyed, you can get 6 of your banished cards back to your deck. So the second effect never comes up, but it's more a searcher for your Gizmek Irochi. It's more a searcher for your Arakami. Because your normal summon, nothing else really matters. Or actually, it's also a search for your time searcher, the Yata, that I have in the side deck. So it's also good for time. Next up is Gizmek Uka. Gizmek Uka has a 1-off, and this made me win game, I think 2 of the second match I played against Branded. This is the second, yes. The second game of the second match of Brandon Despia. Because he had 6 more life, 650, 25 or 50 life points left, and he summoned once, minus 300, and he can summon once more, and after that, it's over. Because you can only summon when he summons a monster, he takes 300 damage, and when this card is normal or special summoned, you can target one monster they control, special summon one monster from your deck, with the same attribute as the target monster. So that's very good, and when your opponent special summons a monster from the deck, you can special summon this card from your hand, and so you can then have more special summons. And because you always have an attribute, because every Gizmek is an attribute, you will always have something for this card. I never want to see this in my hand. I mostly want to search it with this card if I can normal or special summon it. Or I have it in the graveyard, and I special summon with the frog for his second effect. Next up, 3 Gizmek Irochi. This is the card. Oh, by the way, this is the card I do not have max rarity because it's $5 for the secret. So no, thank you. And this card for the max rarity is 30 for the new Starlight, I think. So no, thank you. Gizmek Irochi is an amazing card. Sadly, it's dark because it gets blitzed a lot. But Gizmek Irochi says that, quick effect, you can banish 8 cards from the top of your deck and special summon this card. And his other effect is when this card is face up on the field, banish 3 cards from your extra deck and then pop a face up monster on the field. But you can only use one effect of them each turn. So most of the time, this is a quick effect to summon, by the way, so it can be summoned in your hand in your opponent's turn, or it can be summoned in your graveyard, but then it gets mostly bestialed, so it's like they bestial it, and then I activate its effect, special summon, and then hopefully they don't have a second bestial, or I have no monsters on field. Gizmek, this is the banish 8 card. It's amazing, it's very good. Next up, Gizmek Kaku. I have summoned Kaku. Thank you, Kaku, a lot. He just came up because people randomly summon fusion monsters in the extra monster zone, so you can activate his effect, special summon him. And then I wanted to take his monster to suck it up, but he couldn't. You can special summon this card when they have when they have a monster in the extra monster zone, so like maybe link monster or fusion monster that they summon there. And then you can activate his second effect to take that monster. Then if this card destroys a monster by battle, you can special summon that monster that he equipped, and he can only hold one, by the way. So it's just an out for a lot of cards you can't normally out or target or something else, because you just suck it up. The last Gizmek is Gizmek Okami. I only play one of them because you can. His effect says that you can special summon him if there are 2 or more monsters special summon from the extra deck on the field. I only summoned this guy or used his effect once against the second match of the branded Despia matchup. And I used this effect, but I did not win that game 1, sadly, but it is what it is. His second effect, by the way, is also, when this card is destroyed, you can banish 1 card from either graveyard and then gain life points equal to the attack of that monster. So that's very, very strong second effect, also for time, but your opponent has to destroy it before it can banish. But it's a cool one-off. Then for the hand traps, we play 2 NIBIRUs, because NIBIRU is an amazing card, and I drew it for a turn, sadly. But hey, it is what it is. I always draw NIBIRU for a turn. And I also, one time, I activated it against the second time, well, against the second match of the branded, no, the first match of the branded, the second time for the branded Despia matchup, sorry, it took very long. But he Mercuried it, and yeah, well, that was game. NIBIRU is just an amazing hand. I play, here it is, Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon. This card OTKs as an MFer. I never could use the OTK, but I have summoned him and attacked with him for a game. Amazing. It's so sick. Yeah, thank you very much. You can special summon this card with the combo that I just showed you. And I will show it again later. I play 3 the Wind Kaijus, just for the fact that, well, it's a Wind Kaiju, and when they play through on the Reese, I can just special summon this card to get over Wind Barrier statue and then play. But I only seen this really once work out, and I only had it once, but I still like the Kaijus. Then for the spells, we play one Sacred Scroll of the Gizmek Legend. This card won me the 4th game against the branded Predaplanta. This effect says every time I special summon whenever a monster is special summoned with equal attack and defense, so every Gizmek, it gains a counter. When it has 10 counters, neither player can activate monster effects of monsters that don't have equal attack and defense. So that's an amazing first effect, but that will never happen. And the second effect is, you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck, excavate them, add a Gizmek from them to your hand, and banish the other cards face down. So it's another face down card, and it's amazing. It's very cool. It gets you into your place. Sadly, the second effect never really goes off, but it is what it is. Next up are 2 Pot of Desires. Banish 10, draw 2. Amazing. It doesn't say anything more. It gets your cards banished so you can recycle them or make your other monsters alive. And you can draw 2 if they don't ash it. Nobody played ash today, so thank you very much. Back row removal. 1 Harpie's Feather Duster. Destroy all spell and trap cards on your opponent's back row. Amazing. Not one. I won't change it. Next up is 1 Twin Twister. I cut the other one for a Lightning Storm that you will see. Discard a card, then target 2 face down cards on the field, or spell or trap cards on the field and destroy them. The discard is very amazing. Like you saw, you have some cards that you want to banish or use their effects to special summon or send cards to the graveyard to get more cards in the graveyard. So the one card of this is very good to discard cards. I play a Lightning Storm instead of the second Twin Twister because it destroys monsters and it destroys spell and trap cards. So why not play the 1 Lightning Storm? Next up, I run this card at 2 Urgent Schedules, special summon 2 Earth monsters from your deck in defense, but their effects are negated. 1 monster has to be level 4 or lower, and 1 has to be 5 or higher. So you special summon your Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon if you don't really have to play, or and if you do have to play, you can special summon this card. Its effect, of course, negated, and the Frog to get the Frog into the play. So what you mostly do is, I have to search them. For your opponent's turn, you activate this card effect if he doesn't negate. You can special summon these cards. Then you can make Ancient Gear Ballista. Ballista effect, search the field spell. The field spell is still in here. Search the field spell, play the field spell, destroy the field spell, and then target a monster they control. Special effect of this card. Oh, sorry. You destroy this one, and then the other monster gets 0 attack. Then you activate Gear Town effect. When it's destroyed, you can special summon this card in attack. Well, you can special summon in attack position. And now comes the crazy part. Activate, banish, target, special, in defense. Effect when special summon, target one of their monsters. Say they play a dark deck. Activate to special summon a dark monster with equal attack and defense. Gizmek Orochi. Now you can. So this is actually just a 1 card starter. You can link this off for a thinking. For a unicorn, for Nightmare Unicorn. Then you can activate Unicorn effect, and then you can link these off into Access Code effect. Maybe you want to destroy more cards you have if you have Access Code, and you can still well, this is banished, and you can still banish 8 to have this board plus an Access Code with 5,300 damage, and that's just a 1 card starter, by the way. So yeah, that's why Urgent Schedule is a very good card. You never want to see too much of them, so I think a 2 of them is amazing. And yeah, his second effect you can't use in this deck, but it says that when this card is destroyed while face down on your field, you can add a level 10 Earth Machine from your deck to your hand. So you will never actually use it because you don't have any targets for that. But it's still a cool card. And let's go back to the next card. It's Gizmek or it's Gear Town. Gear Town, I just show you the combo with Gear Town, so we'll just move on from there. Foolish Burial. I don't have to tell you, I think, that Foolish Burial is an amazing card in this deck. In this deck, you can Foolish Burial the Frog or the 4-drop and then go from there. Or maybe Orochi if you want to have Orochi in play, Orochi, to banish him and special summon him so you have a monster on field and you can go ham. So Foolish Burial at 1 is a pretty good card. Next up is 1 Triple Tactics Talent. I play him for the draw 2 or the take. Because you like to, when you go second, because it's a going second deck, surprise, you can take one of their monsters, and if you do, that is like a +1 for you, because you can link that monster up in a link monster. That's why I also play Change of Heart at 1, because the monster can still activate its effect and can attack. And I also play one mind control because, well, that monster can still activate it. It can't activate its effect and it cannot be tributed, sadly. But yeah, it's just I just opened these two cards against two matchups and I won those matchups because these cards are just crazy. It's just a +3 for you actually because they lose to two monsters and they have to use negates. And you can link them away if you want to. So that's very crazy. For 3 fusion monsters spell cards are super polymerization. I play this deck without super polymerization, but because I don't really know what I want in my extra deck, these cards are crazy. These cards are such good board breakers. It's holy crap, man! It's amazing. And the discard isn't that hard because you want some cards in the graveyard, like I told you. So discard at 3 is amazing. And last, okay, here it comes, baby. The tech card that I play, and it just serves me so well. It's 2 enemy controllers. This is a 42 card deck, and enemy controller is straight up bussin'. Oh my god, it's an amazing card. Normal summon Inaba. They want to negate it with Imperm, Effect Failure, or maybe Dragon's Topelia, Chain, take, and then you can take one of their monsters, or Tribute, and then take one of their monsters. It's so crazy. I love this card. Yes, it's an amazing tech card. Maybe you can play it at 1, so you have just a little bit better. It will never see 2, but enemy controller is so sick in this deck because, yeah. Sometimes you would just want to activate one of your effects and they want to negate it, like this card for instance, or where is he? The Makami, because normal summon effect, and then you contribute and then take. It's very cool, yeah. So these were all the cards for the main deck. So let's get to the extra deck. The extra deck has not changed since the last one, or instead of 5 cards, I think. We still play 1 Relinquished Anima for the suck. It's a good card, don't throw it away. We play 1 Salamand Great Almirage still, because sometimes you just want to link your Naganaki away to get into some combos. 1 Linguribo because there's still an Ibli lock at our locals, and I just don't want to get Ibli lock when you're going second. 1 Nightmare Phoenix. I have not used it. But I really wanted to, but it got skill drained. Okay, it is what it is. But it's an amazing card for getting cards in the graveyard and destroying back row if you don't have the other card. IP Masquerena, sure, it's just an extra 2, man. It doesn't do much more. Nightmare Cerberus at 1. It's just a destroy card. If they don't have any back row, so you instead of summoning Nightmare Phoenix, you summon Cerberus. And you only actually summon Cerberus if you can't get into your Ballista plate. Yeah, that's it. Next up is PITKNIGHT Early. It's just a ring. It's just a link 2 generic. But the amazing thing about PITKNIGHT Early is that it does negate something if needed be, and it can be if it's destroyed, it can be special summoned back. So people laugh at this card because I summoned this card and I was like, I can negate monsters that are there or here where it points to, and they just laugh at it like, okay, then I just don't summon there. Yeah, that's the fault of this card, but it's still not a bad card, and it's a fire attribute. So if you don't want to make Phoenix or Salamangreat, you can still banish it for Scum. And I most of the time summon this card instead of any other card. Then the crazy card, Ancient Gabrielista, you only need to play 1 because you only play 1 of those cards, and this cards never get banished. And this is just OTK. We play 2 rank 3s. One is Nightmare Cerberus. Yeah. It's just an amazing card. It gets rid of your opponent's cards by discarding a card, spinning it back. I won because I spawned back in game 5, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, in game 5. I won because of this card. Because I spawned back his how is it called again? Bestial Druid's Worm, and it did not go off. He wanted to send him to the graveyard, and I was like, no, it goes to the deck, and then I just execute for gamed him. And our last link 3 is Blackluster Soldier. This card does not win me games, but this card does make the opponent think. It cannot be destroyed, it cannot be targeted if it's used with a level 7 or higher monster. And well, that's it. The other effects, they can easily get around it with Mirror Jade, and yeah, it's just so sad, man. It does definitely has deserved finally, sorry for the thing, it finally has deserved a spot in my list. I will definitely keep him because it's also Earth, so they can super poly it away, and yeah, that's actually it. It's a good card, but not good enough. And for our last link monsters is, well, Access Code. Access Code is an amazing card. It always have 5300 attack because you target Knightmare Unicorn. And then you can still pop cards on the field. I never use that effect because in my deck I already are popping. So I don't really need that. But yeah, it is what it is. Then for the last cards are the fusion cards. I play one Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. This card is definitely going to get out of this deck for the 3 dark monsters, because if there are not 3 monsters on the field that are dark and only 2, I most of the times make another fusion monster like Stapelli. So I will definitely throw this card out. Next up is Garura for the super polymerization targets. Amazing. 2 cards with the same attribute and the same type, but a different name. Well, and it's a draw 1 if need be. Mudragon of the Swamp is our next one. Your opponent cannot target cards with the same attribute as this card, and it's a quick effect. He can change his attribute. It's a super polymerization target. 2 cards with the same attribute but different typing. And last one, Dragon Stapelia. It's a negate, and it has served me well. It did get a lot of monsters out, and this is the card I summoned most with my super poly. So this card is a very cool. Then we go into the side deck. We play one Gizmek Yata, the time card. Oh my god, this won me a game. So this card says that you can special summon this card by tributing a normal summoned monster. And then when this card is summoned, you gain 2050 attack. So it's not a crazy card, and you always play it at 1 because it is kind of searchable. And it's just kind of searchable. And I also won because I searched it. And the second effect is immediately after this effect resolve, you can normal summon again. So it's not that bad, but you never really use it because most of the time I'm already out of targets. Next up is 2 effect failures. I put effect failures in for when you are going into time and you have sided this card in, and you want your opponent to end on a board that isn't that great, and the other cards aren't doing much against him. Like most of the time I side out the Gizmek, the Gizmeks, Cardala, and or the NIBIRU if I know that they know that I have a NIBIRU, so they will always play around it. And that's really the reason for those cards. Oh, by the way, these cards will get swapped for Ash Blossoms because when you face 3 branded players, yeah, I think Ash is just the card. Then we're going for the side deck, not so funny cards. 3-dimensional barrier. When they know that you're going second and they want to make you go first, you've sided in these cards. If you can resolve them, and they just can't use them. It's an amazing card. This won me the game against the branded person. I just drew it 2 times. Yeah, you can't do anything about it. I played a Sidelock in the extra deck. Never seen this card, never used this card. This card was just too powerful. But it's just to draw it for the extra draw. For the extra power to get it. It just makes them, they can special summon and then you OTK them next. Or special summon from the action. Then we play 2 trap tricks to get to your trap cards. It's just consistency, nothing more, nothing less. And our last cards are 3 Chaos Hunters. Yes, you heard me correct, 3 Chaos Hunters. Chaos Hunter did almost win me the final, or it almost won me the second match, but he just had an out for it. He just had Chalice. Who plays Chalice? Nobody plays Chalice, but he played Chalice, man, and he negated it, and he could play around it. Well, that's it. So I will cut 1 Chaos Hunter or 1 extra Ash Blossom, because Ash Blossom is just too strong not to have in your side, or at least maybe main. But for me, it's definitely a side. So this was my Gizmek list. I hope you all enjoyed. This is the last time I promise you that I post this deck, but I just wanted to show you people that I almost topped at my regionals, or not regionals, sorry, at my OTS event, where people play very, very strong decks, and I was just happy to tell you all the ratios, and that the only thing I will actually change is like the Ash Blossom, and well, that's it, and the Fusion Monster card. That's it. Those are the only cards that I am gonna change. So thank you all for watching, and I wish you all a very nice day.